Okay, let's be real. If you feel like your hips are just permanently locked up, no matter how much you stretch, you are definitely not alone. It is one of the most common and honestly frustrating things out there. But what if I told you the answer wasn't more stretching, but something else entirely? Let's dive in and find an approach that actually finally works. So let's just get right to the big question, the one that's probably been bugging you. You've held the lunges, you've forced yourself into pigeon pose, and yet that stiffness just keeps creeping back, right? It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because the whole way we think about it might be flawed. The real problem is something most of us just completely overlook. And here it is. This is the core idea we need to wrap our heads around. On one side, you've got passive stretching, just hanging out in a position, kind of hoping for the best. And on the other side, you've got active strength, where you're actually moving through that range of motion using your own muscles. See the difference? One gives you a little temporary relief, but the other, that one creates lasting change. And that brings us right to the heart of this explainer. If you really want to unlock your hips for good, we have to shift our focus. It's not about just trying to make muscles longer. It's about making them stronger and more capable through their entire range of motion. This quote right here, this is the whole ballgame. Your body holds on to tightness basically as a safety brake. It will not give you new flexibility unless it feels strong and stable in that new range. So by building strength, you're literally sending a message to your nervous system that says, hey, it's cool, we can go here, we're strong enough to handle it. So this all comes down to a concept called active control. The best way to think about it is that you have to earn your flexibility. When you can actively control a range of motion with your own strength, your body goes, okay, this is ours now, and it locks in that new mobility. That means it's there for you not just when you're working out, but in everyday life, squatting down, going for a run, you name it. Okay, so that's the what and the why. But how do we actually build this active control? Well, it boils down to 4 essential moves that get right to the root of the problem. Let's break down the very first one. First up, we've got the deep lunge lift. Now, most people just passively stretch their hip flexors. This move is different. It teaches them to be strong in that stretched out position. And trust me, this is an absolute game changer for your squat depth and for taking a ton of pressure off your lower back. So here's how you do it. You start in a pretty narrow split squat, using your hands on the ground for balance. Now, the real work is in step 3. You actively lift that back leg just an inch or 2 off the ground, and you hold it. Then you lower it back down with total control. You feel that? You're not just stretching anymore, you are working. What you should be feeling is this deep activation, not just in the front of your hip, but kind of all the way up into your lower abs. As you get stronger, you can start to inch that back foot further away. And the ultimate goal, to do the lift completely hands-free. That's when you know you truly own that range of motion. All right, next up, the hip airplane. If you've ever watched a video of yourself squatting and noticed your knees kind of caving inward, this is your new best friend. This move targets the deep muscles in your hip that are supposed to keep everything stable and pointing in the right direction. You're going to stand next to a wall, just one hand for balance, hinge forward a bit. And here's where the magic happens. You slowly, and I mean slowly, rotate your hips and torso inward, and then you reverse it, rotating externally to really open up that hip. Control is everything here, no jerky movements. As you rotate inward, you should feel this tension building in your outer glute. Then, as you rotate out, you'll feel a nice opening in your inner hip and groin. And hey, if your balance is a little shaky at first, no big deal. Just grab a chair or a countertop with both hands to give yourself more stability. Move number 3 is the good old glute bridge, but we're going to be really specific about it. The whole point here is to wake up your glute max, your body's biggest, most powerful hip muscle. See, when your glutes are doing their job, your lower back doesn't have to jump in and do work it was never meant to do. Now, so many people get this wrong, so let's dial it in. Mistake number 1, feet are too far away. The fix, just bring your heels in closer to your butt. That really helps make sure the glutes are doing the work, not your hamstrings. Mistake number 2, arching the heck out of your lower back at the top. The fix is simple, only lift until you have a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Any higher is just stressing your back, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid. And for our final movement, we have hip CARs. CARs stands for Controlled Articular Rotations. A fancy name, I know, but just think of it as taking your hip joint through its full 360-degree potential. This is absolutely essential for building total control and unlocking those deep, safe squats we're all after. So you'll start on all fours, nice stable base. Then you're going to draw the biggest, slowest circle you possibly can with one knee. You're trying to make it smooth, no hitches, as you move through every possible angle. After a few reps one way, you just reverse the circle and go the other way. Now, here is the number one most important rule for this exercise. Do not cheat. Your torso should stay rock solid, completely still. You're going to be tempted to twist your body to make the circle feel bigger, but that totally defeats the purpose. The movement has to come entirely from the hip joint itself. That's how you build real, honest control. All right, we've covered the 4 key moves. So now let's put them all together into a super simple, incredibly effective routine that you can knock out in just a few minutes. And here's the whole shebang. As you can see, this is not a huge time commitment. We're talking 1 set of deep lunge lifts, 10 reps on each side. Same for the hip airplanes. Then 2 sets of 15 reps on the glute bridge. And finally, the hip cars, 1 set of 10 circles in each direction per side. All in, this should take you, 5, maybe 6 minutes? Totally doable. But here's maybe the most important part of this whole thing. The key isn't how often you do this. It's about the quality and the focus you bring to it. Seriously, you could do this routine just once a week with laser focus and get way better results than someone who mindlessly goes through 30 minutes of random stretching every single day. Quality over quantity, always. This chart really just says it all, doesn't it? The return on your investment, your time, your energy, is just so much higher when you focus on active, intentional movement. You're not just stretching a muscle, you're teaching your body, your brain, how to move better. It's a whole different level. So, I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. What if 5 minutes of focused, quality work could do more for your hips than a whole half hour of just going through the motions? The answer seems to be a resounding yes. And now you actually have the tools to go prove it to yourself.